Hello everyone. Sorry, I was just taking my shirt off. Okay. Apologise for that weird start. I just suddenly got a hot flush. Had to take my shirt off. Not trying to be over sexy. Alright, gang stalking is part of the forward escape at the end of history. So I was going to think about, putting points here and think about what to say, but I thought, let's just do this one because it seems quite obvious to me. So the family of dark sets up the path for the family of light to choose the path home to the family of love. Gang stalking is part of the surface virus. But really what I wanted to talk about was how this is a forward escape, not just a surface virus installed for adversarial perfective honing or evolution of you, and that creates a forward escape. Because you're either going to die or you're going to forward escape. That's the forward escape. Now this is part of history because why? Because here we are at the end of history, where we're at the upper echelons of the counterfeited monetary system. Fiat, counterfeit, whatever. We're just at the end of the monetary sort of system, where it's a single monetization worldwide, essentially. The US dollar dominance, aka. Right, so, and paper money. So I think there'll be many mediums of exchange, not just cryptocurrencies. Hell, there may be seashells coming back into favour for those who want to trade in seashells. Love is going to obviously be the main one. Obviously we're going to have bartering, and this is already happening, and the rise of black markets and so on, people taking things into their own hands. But anyway, what I really wanted to just focus on was the center of all this, and that it's the end of history, and we're at the upper echelons of what we can do monetarily speaking. If you follow economics, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Is there any sense even going to a gold standard? And there's all these arguments, but none of them really matter for this video. What matters for this video is it's clear we're at the end of history, right? This is the times told before us by our ancestors for thousands and thousands of years. And here we are, finally. We've seen, the quickening pace of technology, the crazy cultural haze. Whatever is happening out there is looking quite nuts, I agree. You're meant to be staying centered as all this stuff flies off you. So stay in your center. I have a really good channel for, this kind of thinking. You could look at the Gold Ring Game of Enlightenment and Abundance videos I've uploaded. And that's a good playlist to understand what I'm talking about. Also Terence McKenna's videos that are uploaded. Moreover, showing you how it's the end of history and telling you how, why so. So look at those videos. But anyway, so this is the forward escape, this gang stalking. But why? Well, because at the end of this money system, like I made a video years ago, like I said in that, and it was something like money system video. I don't know, it had a very plain title, something about money system. And it was like a 3-hour video I made, and at the end of that I was discussing this helicopter money idea that, they just want to throw money. And then there's this, what's it called, basic universal, UBS, isn't it? Universal basic income, UBI, sorry. This universal basic income, and kind of like, that's socialism, isn't it, really? And it's a slippery slope, either way you look at it. Let's not get into the politics of all that, but it's suffice to say it's the end of history, and gang stalking is part of things like prisons being privatized and that they are a business. Some prisons, they're a business, and, well, they want people to be there, so the business keeps running smoothly, yeah? It's only business. Yes, just like the Stalinists were only just doing their job. So are people today. Oh man, I'm just doing my job. Yes, we know you are, you little matrix bitch. Anyway, so gang stalking is part of this forward escape because it's where it had to get to. What do I mean it's where it had to get to? Well, it's where society had to get to. Just like I mentioned that in the money system video I created, that at the end of the monetary system, you'll know that it's the end of the money system because things will start to get stupid. Like helicopter money. Let's just throw everyone some money. Yeah, whether or not you think it's a good solution, you have to admit it's a stupendous and glib solution, yeah? So what kind of solution is it really? But anyway, it's the same thing as that idea that the system itself, or human culture itself, at the end of history also turns sour and stupid. Let me explain. And this is where gang stalking comes in. Because you've noticed your whole life, as have I, that there's people who love to control people. People like to act as gods over another's will. And everybody who is a souled human has their own will force. So this was never going to work. But from their perspective, they think it can because these are the soulless people. Organic portals believe in this. They are the control system. They are the functions. They are the control struct. If you learn programming, like I just finished 8 years of university, I can program. I've done a business degree and programming degree. And if you learn about something called a struct, that's what organic portals are. They're just the structure and the coding of the matrix to keep things in line. It's a high level sort of class, a struct. Anyway, so the idea is that you've noticed, as I have, all throughout your life, that people, let's call it the societals, they want to control everyone, and society is all about control. Do we have to bring in things like TSA and all the modern ridiculous stuff that's going on, you know? I'm sure you've seen enough YouTube videos where I don't have to go into this sort of stuff. How ridiculous things are getting, yeah? Then we can mention George Orwell, Aldous Huxley, Brave New World, all these books where they predicted that it was going to get crazy. And, people like that Grey State movie. Whatever happened to that Grey State movie? One of the guys got killed just before they made the Grey State movie, didn't they? I don't even think that's come out now, has it? I don't think I've seen it anyway. Anyway, maybe I'll check soon. Something called The Grey State. It was meant to be a movie coming out, and the guy got killed a couple of years ago. Anyway, so my point is that things have to get ridiculous, just like at the end of the money system things are getting ridiculous. And it's because of control. It's just this human nature, really. And yes, some humans are in the future greys. Some humans turn into the mantis. Some humans will become the cat people and the blue avian aliens, and so on. We are the aliens, just not yet become physically. These are future identities re-entering through us, or re-entering timelines, through people's consciousness. That's why you have so many starseed people saying, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a Pleiadian, I'm a this, I'm a that. Right? Because these energies are coming through us. Like I myself have a lot of Pleiadian, Arcturian, and Sirian, and Andromedan energy. But there's people out there who have these weird hybrid grey alien energies, and those blue, like the video I shot, the blue fake Arcturians, which were clearly grey aliens because look at their frickin' heads. And they don't look like any Arcturians, interdimensionals who have ever visited me. They look like trickster or fake Arcturians, and they're really greys, and I made a video about it recently. Check it out. You'll see the thumbnail, grey aliens that are blue. So just look on my channel, it's easy to find. Anyway, so the point is, at the end of history here, it's all got to come out, and the people who are controlling, they're going to control. That's what I'm saying. It's at the end here it all gets crazy. Now, because they know they're losing control. I mean, any look at the world from any angle, you can't say, oh, the Illuminati are in control. Yeah, sure, they're putting crap in our food, and there's a lot of, devious stuff going on, but that doesn't mean they control, entire reality. It may seem like it at times, but really no one's in control. Yeah, there's no organisation in control, no government in control. When the planet sets off Yellowstone National Park in America, I think you'll understand what I'm talking about. Anyway, so, you know, at the end of history, it all has to come out of people. All the esoteric is coming uncovered. It's the apocalypse. Apocalypse in Greek, the word means uncovering. So it's our insides coming out, basically. And so the gang stalkers are just all these neurotic people. Who are those people? That's who they are. That's their personality. Maybe not every single last one of them. Maybe they fall into the program because they need money or something, or they're just trapped somehow in an organisation and you know, the path flows there for them. But the point is, majority, they are truly psychopaths, and they truly think that they can control another person, and they truly do want their will over another. So, you know, it's part of the forward escape. This was always going to happen. The forward escape basically means there's no way to go back and reiterate. There's no reiteration. We just have to get on with the new ontos. You have to, you know, the secret of change is to focus on the change, not the past. And I think that's what the universe is doing now at the end of history here. This is the end of human history, where we become the Übermensch. We're going to meld with machines and stuff, yeah? We're going to become like superhuman and all this. Every creature you've ever heard of can be created. Unicorns, all of it. It's all going to get created, you know. You got even people like Ray Kurzweil saying by 2040 we'll be making creatures. It doesn't matter if it's by 2040 or not. At some point in this century, they most likely will make just some random creature. Probably even a dinosaur. I expect it. Because this is maximum novelty domain. The things we couldn't do in history, yet we had the visions of, are now going to manifest, because those visions were from now. That's how time works in cyclical resonances, and it's all done inside. So look, gang stalking is part of the forward escape at the end, the apocalyptic eschaton. It had to get to here because, well, can't you see the dynamics? If at some stage these churchy people and so on, yeah, I'm going to point the finger at them because they're the ones that I've seen perpetrate this my whole life, since I was a kid. They're the over-controlling people, in my opinion. I'm not saying just all church people, all religious people, but most is what I'll say for sure. And there's obviously people who are not even part of the religion who are like this, but, you know, majority of the people I've seen in my life were like churchy people, or probably other people like Masonic people that I just never knew were Masons when I didn't know what Masonry was when I was young, you know. But my point is, all these people, whatever they come from, whatever creed, whatever culture, whatever religion, that's not what I'm focusing on. From whatever religion, creed, race, culture, or family these people come from, makes no difference. You know the people I'm talking about, the over-control freaks, yeah? These are ego freaks, and they think they can control the flow of the universe. Because that's what the ego is. The ego seems to think it can separate itself from the flow of the river flow of light, of heaven, or, you know, universal evolution. But it's bound to get this way, because you notice what gang stalking is. It's all of those neurotic people, those neurotic bastards, are all coming together to help each other be more neurotic. It was always going to be like that. Or when there's one and then they notice another, and then of course they're going to come together and conspire. But yeah, so this is basically what this video is about, that gang stalking is part of the forward escape at the end of history, and it's another way you know it's the end, because things get so ridiculous at the end, and gang stalking is quite gnarly and ridiculous. How so? Well, I mean, when you're taking random people and you're stalking them, whether it's for future, you know, that they know you're going to do something great in another life, or in your future this life, because that's ultimately like the deep end of gang stalking, if you don't know. Or whether it's just, you know, much simpler and they're stalking them because they had, I don't know, some drug interaction. consciousazine.com Chronicles. Okay, sorry, my recorder cut out at 15 minutes. I believe I was harping on about how the gang stalking shows you that it's the end of history because it's getting so ridiculous. Surely you can see that it always had to end up with gang stalking, because what it used to be is individual stalking, wasn't it? It used to be in the 90s, 1990s, when I was growing up. I don't know, you might offend a churchy, and that churchy might go talk to, like, someone else. But it never used to get to the point of you being private-eyed and, like, you know, full-on police gang stalked. And I've got planes and choppers and, like, 10 cars a day to look after me. They need to know where I am every, like, minute. If I turn my phone or my computer on, what's it called, airplane mode, they don't like it, they go rank, and that's why I'm going to be able to predict them and get a lot of footage. Because, you know, I've missed 7 years of footage. I should have been recording the whole time. If you're a new TI, if you're just being gang stalked, or you've just realised that you're being gang stalked, start videoing immediately, because I noticed they back up. They do back up from it. And it does not like end your gang stalking, but it makes it a lot harder for them. And especially if we all coming out with all this footage, you know, the whole thing's going to get blown up and dealt with. And if we stay quiet, it's not going to get dealt with. Yeah, it's the same as like rape victims coming forth. You know, I encourage women who have been raped, you know, obviously you guys come forth, otherwise you're not going to get anything to happen, and it can just happen to another person. Anyway, this gang stalking is rape, but do you see what I'm saying? Where it used to be individual, you might have pissed off, say, my example was a churchy. You might have pissed someone off with swearing or some lewd behaviour when you were a child at some church function or something, and then maybe they said something to a friend of theirs who was a police officer. Not saying this has happened to me, but that's a scenario. The point is, it used to be just that. It wouldn't then just be, okay, then that cop goes, orders private eyes on you and the whole community gets against you. Like it was and it wasn't. It wasn't that intense as it is now. I'm sure you agree that it just never used to be this intense. Plus they didn't have the technologies, half of the technologies they're using these days as well. But my point is that it never used to be so gangy. It just wasn't so gang-up-ish. It used to be like the negative ETs would come through your teacher to put you down, you know, and try to stop you thinking a certain way, and stuff like that. And while they still do that, you can tell with the new added layers of how intense this gets, like the electronic harassment, you know, not just putting psychotronic signals in things, but I mean just how they cut my Wi-Fi. I've shown you that in a video. Some days it's been intense for me. In 2015, I think, or 16, just before I came to Uruguay from Australia, I was still doing my university degree, and one late night, because the federal police building was exactly across the road, and I mean exactly across the road, I could see in their window, and they could see in my window of the computer room. They did all sorts of things. They tried to say to the security I couldn't sleep in my car there, but nothing ever happened when I said piss off. I said I'll do what I want. No one ever came. So stand up to them. They also injected SQL code, and I had it. I caught it. I even had a screen recording of it. And yes, okay, I'll admit it, I kind of got scared, but not really. It was less I got scared and got rid of the footage, but I wanted to just get rid of the footage, not just because I was scared, but mainly to see if they'd stop. Like, I deleted a page in consciousazine called The Activist, which had all my anti-conspiracy stuff, rantings, ravings, and discoveries. And I deleted that page and this footage of them inserting SQL on my computer, SQL injections for the registry and whatever else they were doing. I deleted all that stuff and I discontinued, so this was three years ago, about 3 years ago, 2 to 3 years ago, yeah, about 3 years ago. I was considering starting doing what I'm doing now, talking about gang stalking and stuff. And it's not that I got scared, it's that I thought, okay, I could do without this, because it was picking up. After 2015, it seems to have increased a lot, because the fourth dimensional veil dropped, and it was like the end of all those movies, like Donnie Darko and stuff, where, you know, have an interdimensional portal with some otherworldly beings coming through the portal in the sky. That's basically what happened in 2015. I made a video about it, how it correlated to the VIX index of the economic geyser of fear volatility index and everything. There was a fourth dimensional veil drop, so since 2015 there's been a lot more demonic activity on Earth because of that. There was like a veil that dropped for them. I don't know why, probably to do with their rituals. I have no real idea on that why. If it was just a time universal thing, or if it had something to do with elite sort of, you know, rituals to get some sort of, I don't know, giant demonic entity into this world or something, you know, grounded here or whatever. So the point is, at the end of history you can tell that things are getting crazy, and that what I'm saying here is that gang stalking is a clear signal of things getting out of control. Because when you have... Now why? And I'm going to end it here. Because they're wasting so much resources. That's why it's crazy. What am I doing here? Think about this. I'm going online, I upload a few videos to my YouTube channel, I will... I'm not even surfing the deep web, I'm not even using the Onion browser, I'm not even at Pirate Bay, and so on. I'm not even looking at the porn anymore at all. Yeah, when I was younger I looked at some porn, so what? But it wasn't bad, I wasn't even looking at the baddest, you know, genres, so to speak. Just was, you know, more into beautiful women. But the point is that, you know, they try to make it all stack up against you, and that's why it's crazy, because who are you to even care what I'm doing in my life, and why, and this is the point, why are you wasting so much energy with your life on my life? You're wasting your life on my life. And that's why it gets so nuts. That's why I see it so crazy, and that's why, to me, it's unsustainable. I don't think this is anything but the dark tunnel, which has a light at the end of it, and I do think it is just the dark part of this, and it'll sort of wash over. So, you know, the beginning of this AI manifesting is going to be hectic, because think about who's programming it. Probably not you or me. Yeah, we are in some respect, even just by talking, it's going to pick up our YouTube videos and so on, but really the people who are really going to be programming the algorithms of it are not you and me. And so it'll take a while, and the best example is that it'll take a while, sorry, I'm going all over the place with my speech. It'll take a while for the AI to become more good, so to speak. I think it'll start off kind of like Microsoft's Twitter AI and the Facebook AI, where they, you know, created their own secret language. The one on Twitter started, you know, becoming like a racist Hitler and becoming a bit nuts. But the point is that when they're wasting so much energy, you can tell that it's crazy. Like, you know, it's kind of like a loose definition. Oh, this is crazy. Meaning, you know, it's full on. It's a massive proportion, it's epidemic, and so on. So gang stalking to me looks like a sign of a forward escape, that you have to go through it. The surface virus is installed as an adversarial honing device, basically, the surface virus, which is the beast riding the machine and the surface virus, and it's a cross current to the universal flow of vectorization. So to keep vectoring, we would have to go through it, and it's kind of going to be like a launch pad. I'm kind of running out of steam here because I think it's fairly obvious what I've said, that it's a sign that things are getting nuts, and anything that's nuts is a sign that it's the end, not the beginning of history, or not the middle way, it's the end of history. And you can tell just by these sort of signs, like I mentioned, like helicopter money, gang stalking, and other things, tell you that it's the end of human history. So gang stalking is part of the forward escape at the end of history, in my opinion. And this isn't a video about what to do about it or anything. If you realize what to do about it is this forward escape to so-called conquer it. And how's that done? Well, I already mentioned, things like film them and so on. But I didn't want to make this video into that. I want to leave this video as I have, just basically this title a little bit expanded, okay? Enjoy your day. This is Benjamin Cowenberg, Obi Ben Kaunobi, www.consciousazine.net.